Forbes and Diamond Dental in Cedar Rapids, and Big Dog Tech Solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, from Hawkfanatic, Pat Harty, along with Tom Suter.
So, yeah, nice day.
Yeah.
At least it's not slippery.
Well, not here.
No, not here. My drive was wet, but it was not slippery.
Out west,
Still
it
got to
is
proceed with caution.
bleak.
What's that?
Out west, it is bleak.
Oh, yeah, that's how they forecasted it. It was going to be a lot worse in Des Moines and what have you. And is that because it's colder?
I imagine so.
Would have to. I mean,
and maybe a little worse.
what is it right here? Temperature?
We're at 31, but the wind chill's like at 11.
And for some reason, though, it's not freezing on the ground.
Yeah. I think the wind's helping that, probably.
Wouldn't the wind make it worse?
I would think.
Well,
But I'm not.
I would think it
like
would
I said,
make
my
it
drive
worse.
in, I proceeded with caution. I usually go 3 to 5 over the speed limit. Today, I probably went 3 to 5 under, but I never lost control. It was never slippery, but it is wet, and just be careful.
yep. West of Des Moines, most of the roads are, they say, impassable at this point.
They must get a lot more snow.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think so. And the line is supposed to be like north of 80 here when it gets here, so hopefully we won't get much of anything. And that's what the forecast is, less than
an inch. Isn't
yeah.
it? So yeah, I'm not.
Fingers crossed.
So.
For sure.
Yeah, and we're going to have an Iowa tennis player, Pia Kranholt. I believe that's how you pronounce it. She'll be on at 9:30. She's a junior from Hilders, Germany, and they play Michigan State Friday in their Big Ten home opener, and then they have Michigan on Sunday. And if you're a big tennis fan, all those events they're free, no admission, and right over there. Have you been to the Iowa Tennis Complex, Tom?
I have.
It's really nice.
It certainly
a really
is.
nice facility. So if you want to catch some tennis, if you're not watching basketball, I mean they'll be over there this weekend. But yeah, we'll get to know Pia. Wasn't there a P? Was it Pia Zadora?
Yeah.
Wow, you're going back about 40 years or
Was
so.
her first? Was it Pia, and then
Yeah.
her last name was Zadora?
Yes.
I always thought it was her first name was like maybe P parenthesis period, and then Isadora was her last name. What was she?
She was just, she was an Italian actress, I think.
You think there's a chance this tennis player was named after her?
I don't know.
It's not that common of a name.
Here she was just popular because she was pretty and, they had posters and
So
stuff.
like in the 70s?
Early 80s.
Early 80s, okay. Yeah, I vaguely remember. So
Okay, so Sophia will be on with us at roughly 9:30.
yeah, Jim's
Okay.
got her number. We're going to call her at 9:30.
Yep.
And because I told them we're done today at 10, right?
Correct.
Because there's who plays today?
Regina and Maquoketa Valley.
Okay.
And if they win, they'll play Friday at 11:45.
And the women play roughly at around 7:30 tonight.
Yep.
Probably
a little later.
Probably a little later. And
But all the games are on Peacock, so you can tune it in whenever and just leave it on.
then the men play tomorrow at 7. And I will
They
be
do.
there. I will be there for that game.
You and 75 of your closest friends.
I'm hoping they have somewhere between 8 and 10, but I don't know if they will. I mean, it's senior day. I mean, it's
It'll be at the same time if Iowa wins
Why
tonight.
not? They'll be
That'll
right at the
hurt.
same time as the women. And my guess is they're not going to have the women playing on the jumbo screen above the men's game.
Not during the game.
So that's probably not going to help. Hopefully there'll be enough people there, though, because, I mean, Peyton and
I hope so.
these seniors deserve
They do.
a nice send-out, win or lose. I mean, what's interesting, that Nebraska game could be for the Big Ten tournament. Nebraska
It sure could.
Yeah.
Nebraska lost again last night in double overtime,
To Ohio
103 to
State.
102. But the other thing is Rutgers. Iowa, they're going to have to win one, of course. I get it.
Yes, we
but
do.
if they win one and Rutgers loses, Iowa would get it over Rutgers because Iowa has Rutgers is the only team Iowa right now has the head-to-head against. It doesn't have it against Minnesota. It doesn't have it against. I don't believe it has it against Northwestern anymore, but I'd have to double check that. But
Well, we
doesn't have it against USC. So, but like I said, if Iowa loses both games, then they're out.
Yes.
And I think I think a lot of people are assuming they're going to lose both games.
Hello. Just get a call.
Hello. That's what I was wondering. What is it that we have to do to make sure we get into the
You got to win one
Win a
game.
game.
You got to win one game,
We have to win both
and that won't
games,
guarantee it
or-
either. Yeah, I mean, you got to win at least one game, and that wouldn't guarantee it either because these other teams could win too,
Unless it's Nebraska.
unless it's Nebraska. Yes.
Okay, so if we beat Nebraska, then we could be in.
Could be. USC is still a wild card. They're at 6-12,
And they play Washington.
They do.
And see, that would give them, they're going to more than likely beat Washington. I believe it's at home.
It is.
That would give them 7 wins, and they would have the tiebreaker. So it's not that simple.
But then they have to play UCLA.
Yeah, but they'd already have their 7. They'd have 7 wins, and Iowa would have 7 if they beat Nebraska.
Well, that's true.
And USC would have the tiebreaker over Iowa. So it's not just as simple as they have to
That's
win.
true.
It's not that simple.
Okay, the weather looks bad outdoors.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it sure does.
It's supposed to get better by the end of the day, though.
And how well do you think the women will do in the Big Ten tournament?
I think they'll win a game or 2.
Yeah, no, 2 maybe.
I don't think they'll win it. I don't
Will
have
they
them
win
winning the
5
tournament.
games to win the whole thing?
No,
Yeah.
I don't see them doing that this year.
No. Okay, guys, so I'm going to go out and venture in this weather and see what happens.
Well, good luck.
Yeah, just use caution.
Take it slow, Karn.
They're not icy or anything
We'll
yet.
see you. Bye.
Bye.
So yeah, so we need basically we need Rutgers to lose, Minnesota to beat Rutgers,
And Iowa has to win a game.
and Iowa has to win a game.
And that's the challenge, which I don't think a lot of people think they're up to.
Well,
I'm not really overly confident that they're going to win either game. Are you?
I don't think they'll win tonight, or I mean tomorrow.
No, I don't think they'll win tomorrow. And Nebraska on Senior Day desperately needing a win. You know, I mean, maybe Nebraska's unraveling. But
Well, double overtime to Ohio State.
that's probably better than what Iowa would do out there.
I would think.
So, but yeah, no, it doesn't look real optimistic right now. I mean, if you were to look at everything objectively, you'd probably say that Iowa has the least shot of being the 15th team of the ones that are in the running. Obviously, it looks like Penn State and Washington are locks to be. They're not going to get in. I mean, Washington can only win 6 games, right?
Washington can only win 6. Penn State can only win 6.
So yeah, so those two, and then between
USC, Iowa, Rutgers,
Nebraska, Minnesota, Northwestern.
That's right.
Anyone with 7 or fewer wins.
That's right.
So
we're still mathematically clinging to.
I mean, if their last games were, if they had if let's say they were playing Penn State and Minnesota. I know they lost to Minnesota, but I'd feel much more. They're playing 2, and if it was here, Nebraska, I'd give them a good chance. But there on Senior Day, I don't give them that good of a chance.
No, it's going to be rough.
Yeah. And Michigan State may come here tomorrow and lay a big egg, but they're playing for the regular season title. They're really deep. I think Michigan State could not play a great game and still win tomorrow.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And I think that's what will happen. I think Iowa's going to have a very spirited effort. They're going to play their asses off and just come up short at the end. That would be my prediction. I hope I'm wrong. I would love to see those guys get a win.
They'd be great. Love to see Peyton in his last home game come up with a victory over the possible Big Ten champs. Would be a nice feather in his cap.
Would.
That sure would. Hello.
Hey guys, it's Greg calling from Chicago.
Hi, Greg.
I just had a quick question. I'm not saying you guys are a jinx or anything, but you're having the tennis player on later, and I wanted to ask several of the Olympic sport athletes you've had on the last year or so.
Yeah.
Ended up transferring.
So you want us to ask where she plans on going?
What's that?
Do you want us to ask where she plans on transferring to?
No, I just is that
I'm
just
kidding.
like Noah Kent, the golfer I saw transferred mid-season. I know that the tennis player a few years ago that was freshman of the year ended up leaving to go to Miami. Is that all just NIL stuff?
Oh, big.
Yes.
Well, it's NIL stuff. It's also they came to Iowa and showed how good they were, and they're going to a bigger – I don't want to necessarily say better, but Miami tennis is probably a little better than Iowa tennis.
Well, it's around the clock.
And where did Noah Kent go to?
You know, he transferred mid-season. I just saw to Florida, which I know he's from Florida, but it's just I'm a big golfer, and it's just very disappointing because he's playing in the Masters. It would have been so cool to have that Iowa connection.
I didn't see that.
I was not even aware of that.
He seemed like he was, close to Brad, and stuff, and so that was disappointing. Yeah, he just transferred in December, mid-season. So.
Wow, I was not aware of that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's the world we live in now, and my guess is he got way more NIL money, but better weather. There's just a lot of things you could point out why it would be advantageous to play golf at Florida as opposed to Iowa.
Transferred and joined the Gators in December. Yeah.
Is that
Florida Gators?
Is it what website is it? Is it their school?
It's their school.
Yeah. So no, I was not aware of that. It's unfortunate, but
then I think there was a track sprinter you had on maybe.
Yes, Genoa McIver. He ended up transferring.
Yeah.
Where did he go to? It was one of the powerhouses.
Well, yeah,
Florida.
I think he went to Baylor, which is like the Alabama.
No, he went to Florida, I believe.
So,
I believe he went to Florida. Genoa McIver. Yeah, he transferred. Yeah, he was another one too. Well, yeah, they're giving us these non-revenue Olympic sport athletes who are starring here, and I guess the risk with you star in an Olympic sport at Iowa is that other schools are going to come and poach you.
That's unfortunate. But that's the way of the world right now.
I mean, Iowa does it too.
Oh, you bet.
I mean, look what Iowa did to North Dakota State wrestling.
We got Lucy Olson from Villanova.
And they got Michael Caliendo. And, they all do it. But, yeah, it's just the world we live in now.
Got Drew Thelwell.
Yep.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Greg.
Yeah.
No, I was not aware of that. But and of course the guys are going to come on here and say, they're not going to go, well, I'm here now, but if I get a better offer, I'm out of here next Tuesday.
So we're a jinx. Wow. Thanks, Greg.
Pia comes right up. Well, if I finish strong this year, I'll be at USC next year. I mean, I don't. She's from Germany, so it'll be interesting to see how she ended up here. I always am interested in those stories. How, speaking of Germany, I want to point former Hawkeye football player from what passed away, Christoph Trapp.
Yeah.
Much too early at the age of 46. He came here as a foreign exchange student from Germany, and I remember covering him at Iowa. Didn't play a ton at Iowa, but he was on scholarship. But passed away at 46, much too young, and I saw that he was preceded in death by like an infant daughter or son. So, man, that's a lot of hardship, and I just want to send my thoughts and prayers to his family and friends.
I was so sad to see that because when I was doing the play-by-play here, Christoph was on the West High team, and then went to Iowa.
He graduated from West High, I believe, in '97. And I've got a couple friends who went to West High, including Tyler Lupke, who were a couple years behind him. And I called one of them yesterday. He wasn't aware. He hadn't heard it. But, yeah, it's sad. 46 is way too young.
Way, way, way too young.
You're right about that.
Yeah, God, that blew me away. Well, boy, it just goes to show you there's no guarantees, you know?
You only have a finite amount of breaths.
They say make every day count, but I'll tell you there's days where I'm just too lazy to make every day count.
And those days are okay, too. Sometimes you just got to pause and take a break.
Sometimes you do, yeah.
Hello.
Hey, dudes.
Hey.
Hey, I am a proud Trojan alum, and Christoph was playing when I was a junior and a senior, but I'm not going to pretend that I knew him. I just know a lot of people who spoke very highly of him.
Yeah.
And, yes, it was sad to see that he was preceded by an infant son. That's a tough loss, but the thing that brought a little smile to my eyes is I saw how many people really cherish his memory. He had been a lifelong Redskins fan. And I just thought, if that guy got to see this season towards the end of his life, I hope that brought many big smiles to his face. So
that's just such a shame, and
but little silver lining. Hope you guys have a great day.
Thanks, dude.
All right, now I'm sad.
Yeah, that's boy.
But I just wanted to make a point of bringing that up when I saw that yesterday. I was like,
sure.
That's just kind of startling to see that. I'm 14, 15 years older than the guy.
Yesterday during the media conference, you talked to Fran, and basically he said, "I'm coming back." It would basically.
He didn't basically say. He said, "I'm
no question."
Yep.
I mean, he said that, and I knew that's what he was going to say, and I talked to him afterwards. I'm like, "Hey, Fran, I don't want you to think I was trying to ambush you." And he's like, "No, I understand. It's a fair question right now. People are wondering, and so." I'm not sure. I mean, that tells you one thing. If he is not going to be the coach next year, they're going to have to get rid of him.
Exactly.
He ain't leaving voluntarily.
No, he wants his
his money, and I know.
And fair enough.
And Fran doesn't believe that he deserves to be fired. And I'm still on his side on that one. I told you, I've given him at least one more year based on body of work, but I acknowledge all the issues. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. There's an argument against that, too. It's just where I stand right now. I still think his body of work, and I do think you got to give him a little slack this year because the injuries have been bad.
They have.
But so has the attendance. I get all that. I get all that. I've said before that I'm leaning towards him not being back next year, but not because I don't think he deserves it, because do you think he's going to be back?
You know what? I've waffled a bit in the last couple of weeks. How much of an issue is the attendance? Do you think?
It's going to be huge.
If it's huge, if it's an overriding concern, then no, he will not be back because it is.
And that's kind of where I'm thinking, even though I think he deserves another year, based on just wins and losses, player citizenship. There's a lot of stuff that you could point
absolutely
that points well to Fran. And this year has just been a bad year in every sense of the word, but you can't ignore the injuries. You just can't.
No.
And I still think the 11 out of 12 upper division finishes, 4 out of 5 NCAAs. That Big Ten tournament was only 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I just think that stuff to me still outweighs all the other stuff. If you're just going to go just based on just X's and O's body of work, but there's extenuating circumstances. I get this, but he's not going voluntarily.
No,
they're either going to have to fire him or pay him his.
Absolutely.
And then if they want DeVries, which Iowa fans have he seems to have been anointed by, then there's another $8.2 million you're going to have. So you're at 12, almost $13 million before you're even starting to get DeVries' contract ready. And DeVries is going to want 6 years minimum, probably 3.5 to 4 minimum, since Fran's making 3.2. So like I said, there's $40 million right there.
Yeah,
roughly.
Right. It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, and I know they've got the loan still from COVID, but everyone that doesn't mean anything. How does a $49 million loan not mean anything? Well, I don't get that. People are just
a lot of money. Unless you're a billionaire, that's a lot.
And they can't just write it off.
No,
it's not like our national debt as a country.
No.
But so yeah, I'm still on Fran's side as far as body of work, but no, he made it abundantly clear. Do you have the tape? I've got it on my phone. I'm the one who asked.
Fran Future.
Yeah.
Right,
you can hear me asking the question.
I'm fully committed to the program, to the players. I have no intention of moving on. Just came to work today, try to figure out how we can beat Michigan State. Did some other conversation. Professional conversation, of course, on a number of different topics, and get ready for practice today.
It seems reflective in your recruiting, too. You had one of your best classes on paper.
Yeah, really excited about this class and the juniors that we've had visit and we're involved with. I think we're in pretty good shape with a lot of those guys.
See, the recruiting to me is the strangest thing under the circumstances, because on paper it is one of the best classes. And if these guys thought there was any concern about him not coming back, I don't think they would commit and sign, and they must not be hearing much. Or it's a peculiar situation right now that he's able to recruit this way under this, because there's a lot of fans, Tom, that are convinced he's gone.
Yeah,
there's a ton that are. Oh no, he's done. There's no way they're going to have him come back with the arena the way it is. But we'll see. Like I said, I expected that to be his answer. I wanted to give him a chance to answer, because everyone's talking except for Fran in Iowa.
Yeah,
and Iowa's not going to talk. So I gave him the chance yesterday, and he answered the way I thought he would.
Yeah.
So, and he was, no nonsense. I didn't know any follow-ups and whatever, because I didn't want to dwell on the subject, because he was pretty clear where he stood.
Very clear.
And if they lose these next 2 games, I think he's going to say the same thing after the Nebraska game on Sunday. He fully intends to make Iowa fire him if that's what he's going to do, because he doesn't think he deserves it, and he's going to make them do it. And more power to him in that case. Now, if Iowa wants to move on, that is their prerogative.
He's got a contract, and he's got to live up to it or pay.
Yeah, and it'll cost. His buyout is roughly $4.2 million.
Yeah. So over 3 years, right?
I believe. Yeah, you can break it out over 3 years, or they have him come back for 1 year and pay him $3.2 million. Mm-hmm. But then you deal with. Now, I think a new coach will help you, but I don't think Iowa men's basketball games, just because a new coach, is going to be filled with 15,000 at every game next year, even with a new coach.
No.
I think there will be a spike just from the novelty and just from the newness and the change and whatever, but but they're going to have to win. And so,
well, that's it. We're going to have to win because we're not going to have an NCAA tournament to give you a little boost. Ain't going there. We're probably not going to the NIT.
if
no
they lose
boost
these
there.
next two at 15 and 16, no. But maybe in some ways I've got to wonder if that's what does happen, if maybe the best thing is for the season just to end. If they're 15 and 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, that's
It's
not
easy for me to say. I'm not on the team or anything.
But that's not NIT material anymore. It
no,
used to be.
and do you really want to go to to a postseason if you're not even 500?
I don't know.
I think Fran would answer that, but yes, you always want to take an opportunity. And I get that. If that's your argument, fine. I'm not. That is not. I don't see it that way. But if you do, I more power to you. If there's another opportunity to play and compete is what Fran thinks would be the best, then hey, more power to
Now
you.
there's that new tournament in Las Vegas, and they have to have two Big Ten teams. Did I see that correctly?
Yes, and it's the first two that don't make all the other tournaments. So with Iowa, with the Big Ten, they're going to get 10 or 11 in the tournament.
Yes.
2 or 3. It would be like the 15th and 16th place teams.
Yes.
Do you, that's got you and Ann written all over it, doesn't it?
That would be probably not. Although it is Las Vegas.
And if you're listening, it's Vegas. It could be 4 or 5 days of bliss in Vegas. Hawkeye hoops.
Hawkeye hoops, jackpot,
food, free hotels, warm weather.
How could it be? What could be nicer?
Yep. We have our guest on the line.
All right, joining us this morning is Pia Cranholt, junior tennis star for the University of Iowa. What's it like in Hilders, Germany right now, Pia?
The weather is pretty good there.
Is it similar to our weather here in Iowa City?
No, they actually have I can't say it in Fahrenheit, but it's 20 degrees, so 70 Fahrenheit, so pretty nice weather.
Okay. So I got to ask you, how did you go from Hilders, Germany, to being a Hawkeye tennis player? Can you tell us that story?
So I was at a boarding school in Germany, and I think I always wanted to go to America because I didn't really want to go pro after high school. So I talked to lots of coaches from the U.S. and we had another assistant at the University of Iowa, and he was also from Germany.
Okay.
And he and Sasha recruited me, and I really liked them. So I don't know, I just like Iowa a lot. And
okay.
The coaches, the team, everything. So yeah, that's how I got here.
So is the day-to-day life in Germany, is it a lot different than your day-to-day life here in Iowa City? I mean, just like food, whatever, is it a lot different? Has it been an adjustment for you?
I feel like the food was an adjustment. That was for sure different, but and I would say tennis is much different because here you're in a team and not playing for you and yourself anymore. So that's very different. But yeah, I think those two, I would say.
Is the food better or worse here?
Sorry, say that again.
Is the food better or worse in Iowa City compared to Germany?
The what?
Is the food better, or is it better? Is there better food in Iowa City, or is it better in Germany? You said the food's different. Is it better here?
Oh, I would say it's better in Germany, but I would say it's just different in America because so much food is processed food, and it was hard in the beginning for me to find some stuff, but now I think I adjusted really well, and I know what to eat and what not.
So, Pia, what's the best part of your tennis game? What do you excel at?
I think in general I'm very quick on the court. So I get to a lot of balls, and I think I always fight, and I feel like every time, if I lose the first set, I feel like I can still win the second set or the match. I think that's a strength of me.
How much, you mentioned being a part of a team as opposed to just competing for yourself. How much fun is it being part of a college team, just the whole structure, the culture, and the environment? How much are you enjoying that?
I enjoy it a lot. I actually like it much more. Every time I'm coming back from the U.S. in the summer, and then I have to play on my own, it's so much less fun. I feel like you're much more motivated in the team. You always have like someone to interact with. I feel like it's easier to lift weights with the team, and practice in general is just much more fun.
And you were talking about food earlier, and I know, Tom, you usually ask this question, but as far as nutrition and diet and whatever, how particular are you about what you eat when you're training and whatever? How much is that part of your daily preparation, your diet?
I'm pretty strict about it, I would say. I try and avoid like sugar, processed food. I like always try and get stuff from the grocery that has like less ingredients and products. So I eat a lot of meat, eggs, avocado, cheese. So yeah, and less processed food.
Less processed food. Okay, makes sense.
So, Pia, I've been to Germany a few times.
And you loved it, didn't you?
I loved Germany. What are some of the big cities that you're close to in Hilders?
That Iowa City equals to?
Yeah, what are the bigger towns in Germany that you're close to?
So I live in the middle of Germany. It's like a smaller town as well. I would say it's pretty similar, like population-wise, compared to Iowa City. Yeah.
How far is it from Berlin?
Oh, it's far. I think it's like 4 or 5 hours.
Oh, okay.
Far.
Okay.
So, Berlin is more like in the north.
Okay.
And I'm more like in the middle.
Okay. Where did you go, Tom, when you were there?
We were in, we did a cruise. We've been in, I'm blanking now.
You did a river cruise, didn't you?
Yeah, but every place in Germany that I've been to has just been fantastic.
When you say fantastic, what do you mean?
It's beautiful.
Okay.
It is. There is so much history, and there's so much, from World War II. We've seen so much on film, and we've seen it in movies, but to see the actual places in Germany, to see where the Berlin Wall was, and to see everything, the Brandenburg Gate is just incredible.
So, Pia, obviously you've seen all that too. I mean,
Munich was incredible.
Yeah, I've been told that too. I mean, how many times? I assume you've been to Munich, haven't you? Did we lose her? Did we lose her? Are you still there? No, Tom was kind of going off about his trips to Germany. You said, what makes Munich so special?
I would say it's just like a really big city, but as you said, there's a lot of history and a lot you can do there. So I feel like you summarized it pretty good.
Okay. Okay, so now let's say you guys play. Let's see, you got Big Ten play starting. Let's see, you guys are 6-3 heading into Friday's Big Ten conference opener against Michigan State. You won at number 65 Wichita State the last time you were out on February 24th, and then you have Michigan on Sunday. Admission is free to both of these. Just talk about the mindset going. How excited are you to get Big Ten play going, and just the fact that you get to do this at home, and overall your mindset going into the conference.
Well, I think I'm very excited. I think all of us are. It's I just feel like Big Ten conference is always like the most exciting part about the season. So yeah, I mean Michigan State. I think it's nice that we have our conference opener at home, and then against Michigan on Sunday. I think it's like a really good opportunity and see how good we are. I mean, of course, it's like a really good team, but I think our team is also this year like very good. We are healthy, and I'm just excited, and I want to see how good we are and what our potential is. And like right now we are 52 in the nation, and I think there's potential up. And most of the teams that are in the Big Ten Conference are ranked right now, so they are all really good opportunities for us. And I think for us, it's like a matter of how consistent we are throughout the matches. There was here, like in my freshman year, for example, there are like lots of teams we won against, but then we also had some tough losses. But the teams we won against, they were like in the end like a little better in the rankings, but just because they were like a little more consistent. So I think that would be like very important for us, and I hope we will reach our goals in the end.
So does playing at home make a big difference? Are courts different? Like, does the ball bounce different on some courts than others? How big of a factor is that?
Well, our courts are for sure very quick. Inside, it's very quick. So every time, like, teams are coming to us, I think they have to adjust for sure. I really like our courts at home. And, every time we're on the road, the courts are for sure a little slower.
Okay.
That makes a big difference.
Sure. And I want to ask you about NIL. I mean, it's obviously it's a huge part of college sports now. Is it a big part of women's tennis right now, NIL money?
Not really. So no one of us have an NIL deal. I think it's more the sports that have it, that are more like in the media, but not us.
Okay. Do you see that maybe changing down the road? Obviously, you would like to see it change, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to change it. For us, it's more, we had also this Austin money, so like semester money that we get every time we like finish a semester, and they cut it from our program, which was hard. So I'm not sure. I would love to see it in the future, but I think it's a matter of how much money the university can provide for us.
Sure,
And
yeah.
of course, other sports that are more present in the media have more opportunities in that direction, I would say.
Okay.
But you never know.
Okay, well, listen, this has been a lot of fun. It's fun getting to know all these new student athletes at Iowa, and you got good luck this weekend. Now, we do have one last question that we ask all of our Iowa student athletes when we have them on for the first time. And remember, we're a radio station, so I'll give you a hint. It maybe has something to do with music. I'll let Tom ask it. And thanks again, Pia, and good luck this weekend, and good luck this whole Big Ten season.
Thank you.
Okay, now, Pia, your cell phone rings, and it turns out to be Beth Getz, the Iowa athletic director, on the phone, and she says, Pia, I need your help.
Okay.
I need you to hire a band, a singer, or an act to fill up our football stadium, Kinnick Stadium. Who is Pia Cranholt going to hire to fill up Kinnick Stadium?
I would say Måneskin. I don't know if you ever heard about that.
Oh,
band.
sure.
Yeah, they are an Italian rock band, and I saw them in the summer myself, and they are a lot of fun. So I would say them because I really love them.
Yeah, their lead singer is quite a character.
Yeah, right now he's like doing individual music right now, but I'm kind of hoping they are coming back as a band together because they are like making really good music, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, that's a fun choice, and I think they're a very excellent band, and I would absolutely go to Kinnick to see them.
Yeah, nice.
For sure. Pia, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good
We
luck
appreciate it.
Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Interesting choice.
Yeah, they covered that Four Seasons song.
Uh-huh.
Yes, begging. And Four Seasons purists were like, oh, how would they dare? How dare they?
Where are they from?
Germany.
Okay, that's right.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it does make perfect sense.
And
maybe she was ready for that question.
And their lead singer is a character.
Is he?
Yes.
No, interesting. So was that not the answer you were expecting? Were you
No, but from her standpoint, it's a great choice.
Sense.
Yeah, no.
Would they fill up Kinnick? No.
Probably
but
not.
No, most won't.
But if Pia was there watching, she probably wouldn't care.
No, probably not.
But I thought it was
seat would
interesting.
be
She
better.
did say that what is Germany known? Is beef stroganoff? Is that a German food?
I think that's kind of more of an American.
But like sauerbraten and
Wiener Schnitzel, we can get almost everywhere.
My sister made sauerbraten one time for, I think who ended up being
nasty.
Her. And she spent all day doing it. And she did it. My mom didn't. And I took one bite of it and spit. I was like 5. I spit it out and she cried. Yes. It was the worst We couldn't eat
Sauerbraten's
it.
nasty.
It tasted like meat that had been sitting out in the sun for like 2 hours.
Wiener Schnitzel, on the other hand, is
Bearable.
fabulous.
Yeah, it's a little bit too rich and for me. It's heartburn city. But Sauerbraten's one of the worst foods I've ever had. What else is Germany known for?
Sausages.
Beer.
Yeah, the beers.
Tommy, what'd you say, Tommy? But yeah,
No, their Oktoberfest is legendary, and their beers are.
Aren't their beers like 14 proof too?
They're
Some
a little
of them
strong,
are.
yes.
Yeah, I mean, I doubt there's many 3.2 and 4.2 beers.
I
in
mean, you
Germany.
can get a good German lager anywhere.
Yes,
But what's the proof of it usually?
A little higher than
It's usually about 7 or 8, isn't it? About maybe
ish,
double.
yeah.
Okay. So, but no, like I said, it's fun getting to know. It's also interesting interviewing somebody who, she's learning the English. She's learning the English language as she moves on each day. I'm guessing a while ago she didn't probably speak much English.
Okay, now I did get a text from someone that said Frankfurt is the closest larger city to Hilders. It's in southwest Germany.
Okay, she said Hilders was kind of in the middle of Germany, right?
Uh-huh.
I don't think people realize how big Germany is.
Yeah, it's big.
It's big.
It
yeah,
is.
no, it's big. Yeah, it is. And
What'd she say, 12 hours between
I think she said
Hilders
12,
and Berlin?
And I've never been there, but like you and other people have told me, it's just beautiful.
Oh, it is.
And I've been told the countryside is beautiful.
It is.
Lots of forests and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was.
German chocolate cake.
Oh yeah, which I've grown to like that more than I did as a
love
kid.
that. I love that.
I didn't like it much as a kid. But yeah, Wiener Schnitzel and
Chocolates. That's Swiss.
Uh-huh. And Suter is a Swiss name.
But for some reason, when I think of German food, I think of beef stroganoff. I don't know why, which I'm not a big fan of.
I love beef stroganoff.
It's got too much of that sour creamy.
Well, yeah,
I think that's
one
an
of the main
American
ingredients.
dish more than
or something we
anything
converted
else.
from Germany. Like because a lot of the Asian food we eat here isn't like how they eat food over in
Right.
China. We've kind of made it our own version, which
Well,
I love.
And spaghetti is more of a side dish in Italy than it is a main course.
Yeah,
like it is
it's
here.
a main course here.
Yeah, it's just
So-
tomato sauce and noodles.
And I'll fight anybody on this. European pizza is not good. It just isn't. And I've had
You
it
should have
in
brought that up. What if
3 or 4 different countries.
You should have brought that up, and I think she would have taken you off. She goes, "You come out to the complex this afternoon. I'll fight you over that." That would have been good radio, good video.
I liked her perspective on the foods that are available here. They're all have a
Processed
lot.
it, and she's
You can
right.
tell she's very health.
And
conscious.
she's right.
Yeah, no, she is right. Yeah, there is.
Yeah,
way
no,
too much.
we had a pizza in Munich, and it was not good.
What was bad about it?
It's the toppings were kind of all pooled in the middle, and so you had a lot of crust on the outside. The toppings pooled in the
So
middle.
they just didn't spread the toppings out.
It's just
How was the crust good?
no, not
See,
really.
to me, the crust is what makes.
no,
it
the
pizza.
crust wasn't very good.
Okay, that's.
No, it
And
wasn't.
speaking
good.
of pizza, I thought I went. It's Hy-Vee had a Tombstone on sale, spicy Italian Tombstone, $3.99 on sale.
Yum.
I got it, and about two pieces into it, I'm like, this sucks. But I gave it a try. I thought I'm like, Suter loves this. But it just reminded me of the '70s and eating cardboard pizza, and I ended up throwing the last half away.
Yeah, I lived on Tombstone sausage pizzas one summer.
Well, you did that when there was hardly any other choices. You had
Yeah, and it
Totino's.
was
Yeah, Totino's.
delicious.
That was
Totino's and Tombstone in the '70s was our only
yeah.
choices, weren't they?
and Totino's was bottom of the barrel.
Totino's had those holes in the bottom of the
Yes,
crust.
but there wasn't Freshetta, there wasn't DiGiorno, there wasn't
No, none of that
Home
stuff.
Run In, there wasn't California Kid. There was none of
No.
that stuff in the '70s and
No.
'80s. You had Tombstone and Totino's. People probably, when they think about that, are like, "You're kidding me."
Well,
But
and then when they had Stouffer's put out French bread pizza, remember that?
They still
I was
do.
like, oh my god, this is the greatest.
and now
thing
you couldn't pay me to
No,
eat that
of
stuff
course
now.
not.
But when it first came out, oh my, this is wild. Yeah, kind of like the same thing when Central Air came out. I mean, I'm not old enough to know when it was invented, but I do remember I'm old enough to remember when homes started to convert in the late '60s, early '70s.
I know my uncle was pretty well off in Burlington. He owned a Pepsi factory, and so he had a very nice house, and he had central air in the '60s. Which was
That's
in the
pretty early.
'60s. That was fairly early.
We got it in the early '70s, but we had this massive window air conditioner that made no noise at all, and it turned at least the main floor. I mean, it was Antarctica in our house. And this thing, the only bad part about it was taking it in and taking it out. It was a 4-person project.
Yes.
It would be me, my brother, my dad, and somebody else. And this thing was heavy as hell, but my God, did it work.
That's awesome.
And I remember I was sort of sad to see it go because it did. It made no noise. The central air turning off and on was actually louder than this thing. But, and then the central air, I used to pitch, and my dad would catch me right next to the central air. And with the threat of, if you hit that central air conditioner with a baseball, I'm going to kick your ass. So it taught me how to throw but there were a couple times where I hit it and he would get so upset. But it was all for my good.
I lived in a 2-story house and the living room.
So did I.
Had pocket doors, so we were able to air condition the living room, dining room, and kitchen. And then when you walked in the house, the foyer there was no air conditioning. You went upstairs, no air conditioning. It was like walking into an oven in the summertime, second floor.
Yeah, see, our central air worked upstairs, but obviously it wasn't as good as, heat rises,
We had an air conditioner in the living room and a smaller one in the kitchen.
But yeah, I grew up in a two-story Beaverdale brick home. And that's what Beaverdale is known for in Des Moines, is most of the homes around there are brick.
Uh-huh.
Ours was red and kind of dark purple brick. And last time I was in Des Moines, I drove by it, and it's crazy to see how much different your neighborhood looks when you're older than when you were like a 6-year-old kid. Things that looked massive and daunting back then, they're like, God, that's the hill that I used to walk. It was crazy. It was weird going back to see. I hadn't seen my house in probably 20, 30 years.
When I had my 40th high school reunion, I went back to my neighborhood, and the streets were so narrow, and everything looked so small compared to what I remember growing up,
Well, and the houses were smaller then, too.
Yeah, it was a Victorian-era house, so it wasn't very big.
Uh-huh.
But, it is funny. Your perspective changes as you get older.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it really does.
I mean, like the Iowa football coach in the 60s, Jerry Burns, lived in a little ranch house two doors down from us.
Because he wasn't making much more money than the school teacher at City High back then.
Yeah, they weren't getting big bucks like that.
No.
I mean, Hayden Fry started at 44. That was his beginning salary, I believe, $44,000. And now, granted, that was 1979.
Still, that's pretty good money.
Back then, that was pretty good money. But still, it wasn't anything like what's going on now. But there wasn't television hadn't.
And in the late 60s, I believe my dad was making about $33,000.
That's pretty good money for the late 60s.
Pretty good jack.
Yeah, I remember my dad as a teacher. I remember him getting up into the 30s and high 30s and whatever back in like the 70s and 80s. Because he'd been teaching for so long, and that was decent money. I mean, not rich by any means, but comfortable.
Yeah, my parents built a house on Kozer Avenue, and it was, a real nice house. I think it was $33,000 was what they paid.
What year was that?
1965.
Okay. My parents built one in '89 out in Johnston and lived in it for like 2 years. And then they sold it. Uh-huh. And I think they ended up making like $30,000, $40,000 on it. But it had a septic tank, and it just drove my mom crazy. She'd just stare out into the backyard waiting for poop to rise up from the grass.
Oh, God.
And I'd be like, come on, Mom, it's not that bad. She just did not like having a septic tank.
Well, my parents paid $15,000 for their house. 5 years later, my grandma moved from Chicago to the town we lived in, and about half the size of the house, and it was $15,000. I think they sold the house after living in there for 12 years for like 75.
God, I've been in mine now for almost 17. It's crazy.
Yeah, this is the longest I've lived in a house, and we've been here in August it'll be 16 years.
So I moved into my house in 2007, in July of 2007. So yeah, this will be 18 years.
Yeah,
I think this is the longest I've ever spent in one place. 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've been there 10 years?
Yeah.
To compare my property taxes now to when I first bought the house, oh, my God.
I imagine.
I mean, they've gone almost up $200 a month just in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
My payment is, and I haven't refinanced. My insurance hardly changes, but my payment's gone up about almost $200 since 2023, and it's all property tax.
Well, and they're trying to lower it in the state legislature. So.
Well, some people want to get rid of it. Doesn't Elon Musk want to get rid of property tax?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love it, but then who's going to pay for the roads and the school? I mean, where's the money going to come from?
Well, they don't care.
No.
Yeah, I guess they don't.
Because they're rich, they don't care.
Yeah. I didn't watch any. Did you watch any of the speech last night? I did not.
No.
I tried, but
I didn't watch a word of it. But not like I was making some. There were times where I didn't watch stuff like that's boring.
Yeah.
No, we were watching a Mormon cult thing.
That Warren Jeffs guy?
No, this is a family that they had a video, a vlog that went viral, and they were had a million plus followers. They made millions of dollars on this vlog, and this woman was badass crazy, and she unravels in the course.
So people basically just like it was like watching a train wreck.
Yeah, at first it wasn't. No, they were showing themselves as the perfect family.
But why would that be something to watch?
I think because for people that don't have that. I guess.
I mean, you mean like have like? I mean, I have family. But I'm by myself. But you couldn't pay me to watch.
Oh no, me
like
neither.
That.
But it was very popular.
I just don't get reality TV. Why
no,
people
I don't
like
either.
Why people like watching other people live their lives?
I don't know.
What is it about that is interesting?
I know, but it did become a train wreck.
Well, then I guess you're watching like yeah, I get that. You're watching somebody suffer.
But she went from being beloved, America's favorite mom, to being vilified as being violent towards her children, and we're only 2 of 5 episodes in, I think, so it's taking some ugly turns.
Yeah, the only thing I watched even close to reality was the Osbournes when it first came on.
I watched a little bit of that, but that was just, I couldn't take it.
Shame on
Number
you,
one,
Jim.
I couldn't understand a word he said.
No,
and I just thought it was stupid.
Well, it was.
You were
I
right.
just don't get it. That's just me. I mean, I've just never understood reality TV. I just think it's the stupidest thing.
No,
like the Kardashians. What is interesting about the Kardashians? Nothing. Oh, they're an extension of OJ.
Yeah. Really,
Robert Kardashian, yeah.
Yep.
Well, the daughters. I mean,
although the daughters they're huge. They're huge influencers, they make millions of dollars.
But just for being on social media?
Yes.
Yeah, basically.
And why would people find that interesting?
I don't know.
Apparently
but
they
do. I've never seen a single episode.
Me neither.
Oh, I haven't either.
Take this last phone call before we go.
We got Sugar Ray coming on.
Yep. Hello.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Morning.
Morning.
Hey, I just wondered if you guys might know when Fran's contract is.
I think it goes through the 29 season. I think it goes through. He's got at least another 4 years. I believe. I'd have to look it up.
I think you're right.
I think I'm right, and he makes $3.2 million a year, and his buyout's $4.2 right now.
So do you find it kind of interesting that there's been no talk about a contract extension in terms of recruiting and stuff?
Well, he still has the 4 years.
He's got the 4 years.
He still has the 4 years. So, yeah, I mean, a year from now. But, I mean, of course, I mean, if they were having more success, there'd be talk of an extension. But it's not like he's got 1 or 2 years left on it. So they can still kind of work through it that way.
Yeah, I just saw yesterday that he said he has no intention of retiring or anything.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah, he's
if they're going to get rid of him, they're going to have to fire him. They're going to have to pay him because he's not going.
So the same with like Fran.
Yeah, he's not. Well, that's what I meant, Fran.
Well, he's talking about brands. I thought.
Are you talking about brands or
Fran.
Who are you talking about?
McCaffrey.
Yeah. I don't,
okay.
No, not
okay.
Fran.
Then, yeah.
Yeah. No. So yeah, if they're going to get rid of him, they're going to have to do it.
And how soon after the season do you think that they'll be, we'll hear something?
I'm guessing we'll know something with a week to 2 weeks after the season.
If they make a change.
Yeah.
All right, we got to go, buddy. Thanks for your call.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for your call, and many thanks to Pia Cranholt, the tennis player for the Hawkeyes, for joining us. It was fun talking to her. And, yeah, Sugar Ray with Regina girls basketball coming up against Maquoketa Valley here in a moment.
Yes, and thank you for listening to Hawkfanatic. You can check it out. It's free.